Now, let me discuss about the the next topic, that is the Shimla Agreement. (1972). Okay. So, 1972, July 1972, the Shimla Agreement 1972. So, after the war, we had more than, as I already told, 2-3 issues were there. Pakistan refused to recognize Bangladesh as an independent country. First of all, they refused, because obviously it is their country, no country will agree just like that, okay, you have created a new country, you continue with that new country. Okay. So, naturally Pakistan did not agree, Pakistan refused in the first place, Pakistan refused. So, we were persuading Pakistan to recognize Bangladesh as an independent. See, one of the requirements in the international law is, if a country comes out of a mother country, like like Bangladesh coming out of Pakistan, first the parent country should recognize, yes, then only the UN will recognize. So, India put lot of pressure on Pakistan, saying that you have to recognize the formation of Bangladesh. Pakistan was unable to, because it was their country, it is not that easy for anybody to recognize it. But the best part for India was that we had 93,000 soldiers with us, Pakistani soldiers as prisoners with us, prisoners of war with us. So, Pakistan was refusing initially. So, that is why the Shimla Agreement, or rather the meeting prolonged. It was only in July. See, the war ended in December, more than 6 months have gone. So, Pakistan's refusal to recognize Bangladesh as an independent country was a major reason. Anyway, and also the issue was more than 90,000 prisoners of war, POWs with India. And also there are many political prisoners of East Pakistan in Pakistan. See, for example, Mujibur Rahman, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and other Awami League leaders, okay, and other Awami League leaders were still in jail. So, we wanted their safe passage back to Bangladesh. So, there were many issues involved in it. So, we were negotiating, or rather India negotiated with Pakistan for a peaceful solution, so that the war can be ended, there can be exchange of prisoners of war. So, this is how the Shimla Agreement came in July 1972. Finally, the Pakistani leaders at that time, the Pakistani leadership, Pakistani Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and Prime Minister of India at that time, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. So, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Indira Gandhi signed the Shimla Agreement, and this agreement talked about the return of the. So, first of all, very important aspect is, one, Pakistan recognized Bangladesh as an independent country. It is one of our first requirements, number one. Number two, both sides agreed to return the prisoners of war, return of prisoners of war. And number three, Pakistan also agreed to release all political prisoners. Agreed to release all political prisoners. So, all the Awami League leaders, all of them were released, no doubt regarding this, that is a very important point, and Pakistan agreed to release all political prisoners. And then not only that, this also paid, so this was for the Bangladesh perspective, but between India and Pakistan, even though there was no war in in Kashmir, even though 1971 war did not include Kashmir, no doubt the 1971 war did not include Kashmir, but Shimla agreement has mentioned about Kashmir also. So that is a very interesting aspect of it. Okay, and under the Shimla agreement, both the countries understood, to give up conflict and confrontation. Okay, so both agreed to give up conflict and confrontation in resolving our disputes. Okay, and we all agreed, both agreed to work for the establishment of a durable peace, friendship and cooperation. Both agreed for the establishment of durable peace, friendship and cooperation. And Shimla agreement contains a set of guiding principles mutually agreed by both India and Pakistan. Some guiding principles were included so that we can manage our relations in future. And these guiding principles include, okay, what are they? So the Shimla agreement talked about certain guiding principles like respect for each other's territorial integrity. So Shimla agreement talked about respect for each other's territorial integrity. And sovereignty. Then non-interference in each other's internal affairs. This is part of our non-aligned movement principles also. Non-interference in each other's internal affairs. Okay, non-interference in each other, but just before the war, India interfered in the internal affairs of Pakistan, in the East Pakistan. That is why India supported them. The Mukti Bahini forces, the liberation forces of Awami League, they got all support from India. They were stationed in India. So non-interference in each other's internal affairs, it is more like it's a very interesting thing to hear, but actually we might not have practiced it. Then also respect for each other's unity, political independence. All these things we have said. Abjure hostile propaganda. Okay, resist or rather give up hostile propaganda. Abjure or give up hostile propaganda. So these were some of the principles with which we have signed the Shimla agreement, and in the Shimla agreement 3 important things were there. Okay, along with the principles, 3 very important aspects for India and Pakistan. 3 important aspects for both India and Pakistan. Number 1, both sides agreed that we will resolve our disputes peacefully through direct bilateral approach. Both agreed to resolve all issues peacefully through a bilateral approach. See, this is a very important thing. Shimla agreement said that both India and Pakistan will resolve our dispute peacefully. We will issue all issues peacefully through a bilateral approach. See, bilateral approach means we will not involve any third party. We have seen in 1965 war when Soviet Union interfered, and when in the Tashkent declaration, the Tashkent agreement, the Soviet Union interfered and the third party involvement was there, and they put lot of pressure. India was never happy with that kind of a pressure being imposed by Soviet Union. So that is why in the Shimla agreement we made it very clear that both will resolve all issues peacefully and bilaterally through a bilateral approach. So this is a very, very important aspect of the Shimla agreement. So, we have negated and rejected all third party involvement in our bilateral problem. We said no more involvement of any third party, whether it is USA, whether it is USSR, whether it is China or anybody for that matter, we will not involve any third party in our bilateral dispute. So, that is a very important aspect. And second point, we have said that we will develop people to people contact. We will develop the people to people contact, and we will cooperate with each other, and cooperation with each other. We will develop people to people contact and we will have cooperation with each other. And also a third very important aspect, and this is a crux, and I will say the most important statement in the Shimla agreement is, we both sides will respect the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. The inviolability of the line of control, that is a word used. The inviolability. Inviolability of the line of control. Inviolable means the line of control will not be violated. Of the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. Even though we did not fight a war in Jammu and Kashmir this time, Jammu and Kashmir was not an issue in this war, but we are saying the inviolability of line of control in Jammu and Kashmir will be, or it will not be questioned, or other the inviolability of line of control in Jammu and Kashmir will be upheld at any cost, meaning at all costs we will protect the line of control. The line of control will not be violated. The inviolability of line of control in Jammu and Kashmir will be upheld at any cost. And this is the most important confidence building measure between India and Pakistan. This line of control should not be violated. This is the most important CBM, confidence building measure between India and Pakistan for a durable peace. The most important CBM means confidence building measure. Between India and Pakistan, CBM between India and Pakistan for a durable peace. So, three things here. Number one, both the sides agree to resolve all issues peacefully through bilateral approach. Okay, both agreed to resolve peacefully through a bilateral approach. Both will promote people to people contact and cooperation with each other. And the number three, the inviolability of the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir will be upheld at any cost. The line of control in Jammu and Kashmir will not be violated at any cost. And this is the most important confidence building measure between India and Pakistan, and this will help in durable peace. That is what we have written. See, now please understand one more point. Let me just, for your understanding, let me just add. Just a minute. one second, one second. Yeah. So, in Jammu and Kashmir, you please see, this is the line of control we are talking, this green line, I am just drawing another blue line here, this is the line of control we are talking. So, we are saying that this line of control, the LOC, the inviolability, see this is equal to, this is almost similar to the 1948 ceasefire line. This is similar to the 1948 ceasefire line. So, we are saying that this line of control, so 1948 ceasefire line has been the renamed as line of control, the line of control will not be violated at any cost. So, what is the meaning of it? The meaning is this line of control, that is what in 1971 itself India has resigned, or rather India has accepted that we will be finally converting this line of control, India will finally convert this line of control into international border. Okay. India will ultimately convert this line of control into international border. That is the meaning of it. See, we said line of control should not be violated at any cost. Line of control is sacrosanct. It is very, it's like a divine line. Don't violate that line. Don't cross that line. Meaning what? So, even though we are claiming this as this international boundary right now, but in reality, what is our de facto boundary? De facto boundary is the line of control. De facto boundary is LOC, line of control. So, we are indirectly telling, through the Shimla agreement, we told Pakistan that let us respect this line of control, that is the ultimate line. That means we were telling Pakistanis that we do not want, or rather we will not be claiming the Pakistani occupied Kashmir, and you do not claim the Indian Kashmir, the Indian side of Kashmir on the eastern side of the line of control, you please do not claim anything. We are not, so that means for your understanding, let me just tell you, when we said that the inviolability of line of control should be respected means, India told Pakistan that in 1971 itself, let us resolve the dispute in Jammu and Kashmir with line of control as the boundary line, because even though we were claiming Azad Kashmir, Gilgit, Baltistan, etc., it is ruled by Pakistan for 25 years and we are not going to get it. We knew that it is not that easy for us to get it back. So, we were accepting the reality in Shimla agreement, even though we were the victorious team, we defeated Pakistan, we dismembered Pakistan, we divided Pakistan into two parts, West Pakistan and East Pakistan. Even then, India knew, we wanted to work in the reality. The reality is getting those portions of Kashmir to India was not that easy for us. It would not have been, I will say, politically wise to, merge some territory without the will of the people. We knew that very well. So, we did not want to create any further trouble. We thought whatever happened is happened. This Kashmir, beyond the line of control, we never ruled that Pakistani occupied Kashmir for 25 years. Now, even if we get it, it is not going to be useful for us. So, it was a acceptance of the reality at that time. To have a long and durable peace, that is why India said that for a durable peace, for a practical solution to the problem, India accepted that line of control should be ultimately converted into the final boundary. That is why Shimla agreement talked about the durability or inviolability, don't violate the line of control stand we have taken. That is a practical, pragmatic stand taken by the government at that time, by the Indira Gandhi government at that time. That is a wise decision, that is a very practical decision, because if you try to capture the rest of the territory, we knew that it is not that easy for us to happen, and there are, it is Cold War was going on at that time. Please do not forget 1972 Simla agreement, that is the peak of the Cold War. US is on one side, Russia is on the other side. They would not have been agreeing on anything, it would have been a big problem. So given the political situation of the world at that time, it was the most practical and pragmatic decision of that time. So anyway, so Shimla, why do we give so much of weightage for Shimla agreement? Because three important things. First of all, we said all issues should be resolved peacefully and bilaterally, no third party involvement. Number two, we should increase our people to people contact and cooperation with each other. And number three, the line of control should be treated as inviolable, no violation of the line of control, so that ultimately, it is not written there. So the idea was that ultimately this line of control should be converted into the a final border, the de facto border should be converted into a what you call a de jure border also, or meaning it should be a legal border subsequently, not immediately, because at that time we were not ready, or rather India and Pakistan were not ready to accept that line of control should be the boundary. So we wrote it in the Shimla agreement. That is how the the war ended. Okay. So anyway, so that is about the Shimla agreement. A couple of questions I will pick up right now, then I will be moving into the next topic, that is the Kargil war. So I mean, don't ask too many questions. I know you people have a habit of asking too many questions, but control your emotions and let me pick up some of the questions. Okay. So won't we start from the introduction? Gaurav Dubey is asking, my dear, that introductory a couple of lectures which I have talked about. It is already uploaded for you. Please go through that. If you have a doubt, I will solve it. There is nothing. These are all stories. Various stories are there. So it is not not difficult for you to understand. So Gaurav, you please go through that. You are not going to miss anything. I am there for you and I will support you, and we will ensure that every doubt is cleared for you. Please don't worry about that. Okay. So what happened to the Muslim League? Muslim League has converted, or rather they took up the leadership, and Pakistan was created and they started ruling, and that is how the Muslim League as a party started, and they continued to rule in Pakistan subsequently, but slowly, because of the military rule and things like that, the party did not flourish beyond a point. Then how did East Pakistan and West conducted parliamentary proceedings with such huge distance between them? Ayush was asking. Yes, they had to travel, the members had to travel from East Pakistan to West Pakistan. So either in ship or in aeroplane they had to travel, the members, to reach the the Pakistan. It's a difficult thing because they were separated by almost 3,000 kilometers apart. It is the only country in the world. So anyway, so then Pakistan has been violated the ceasefire agreement for more than 4,000 times till now. See, ceasefire agreement. Now, please don't tell only Pakistan has violated, Keshav Gowda. We are talking from Indian perspective, we are saying Pakistan has violated. Pakistan is saying the opposite. So we don't know the exact truth. What is the, as an independent observer, we should tell. So Pakistan violated more than 4,000 times does not mean that India has not violated at all. So we don't know. That is what we know, we hear. When we say Pakistan violated. In Pakistan they say India violated, so we don't know. Sir, please explain the second point, people to people contact. And we also said that there should be people to people contact, there should be more because thousands of families got separated. Some of the relatives are in Pakistan and vice versa. So they are talking about we should improve our relationship between the countries so that our bilateral, our emotional attachment between the countries can increase. That is the point of people to people contact. Who has interpreted the LOC? See, as international border. See, that is what I am saying. This, when we wrote in the Shimla agreement that line of control is very important, you cannot violate. We are ultimately telling everybody that finally when there is a solution between India and Pakistan, this line of control will be the international border. Nobody has written anywhere. Okay, so there is, how can there be an official statement man? सब कुछ वरुण तुम क्या लग रहा है सब तुमको अगर किसी से मारना है तो क्या करेगा, पहले ऑफिशियली डिक्लेयर करके जाएगा मारने के लिए, या तुमको किसी से प्यार करना है चुपचाप तो क्या करेगा, क्योंकि ऑफिशियली डिक्लेयर कर माथे पे लिख के जाएगा मैं प्यार करने आ रहा हूं. ओके, सो द सेम थिंग, दिस इज द इंटेंशन व्हेन वी से line of control should be respected. What is the intention behind that? The intention behind that is we want to convert this into international border. That is the meaning of it. That is what you have to interpret. Interpretations are subjective. तुम कौन है फिर इंटरप्रेट करने वाला? तुम ऐसे लिख रहे जैसे कि तुमको पता है इंट्रोडक्शन फाइनली, so interpretation क्या होना चाहिए? This is the only interpretation and there is no second interpretation. And तुमको ज्यादा दिक्कत है तो तुम अपना छोड़ दो इसमें से. Okay, so don't listen to me if you have bigger understanding and the interpretation. Okay, so de facto boundary means by fact. Line of control is the factual boundary. Today what is the boundary? Line of control. Okay, that is the meaning of it. So there was an Indo-Pak war in 1980s. There was no war in 1980s. Don't worry. It was only a Siachen. Okay, that was it was not a war. 1990 Kargil war was there. Otherwise there was no war in 1980s. So why India compromised on line of control even though we had a decision? So we did not compromise on the line of control. We have dictated terms. And but we also have to be practical. Okay, we don't say that we have compromised. We did not want. We were very clear what we wanted. We knew that what is practically possible and what is practically manageable for India is line of control, and beyond that we don't want. So please don't say that India compromised on line of control. No. India said to the Pakistan that don't have any expectation from the Indian side. Anyway, we have no interest in your side. Okay, that is the meaning of it. So India did not compromise. Don't say this. Then one this third point of agreement will be difficult for India to claim. See, we are not going to Sahil. We don't want. I mean, do you think we are going to get Azad Kashmir tomorrow? Yeah, after 50 years or after 100 years. How will you occupy that territory? And if at all you try to occupy a territory where the people are not interested, or other, if you forcefully occupy a group of people, do you think it will help our country in any way? So we are not. I mean, the reality is right from 1971. We have told everybody that we are not interested in Azad Kashmir or we are not interested in Gilgit-Baltistan. But yes, for bargain point of view, we are still claiming those territories. That's all. The reality is we have told Pakistan in 1971 itself that we are not interested in Azad Kashmir and we are not interested in Gilgit-Baltistan. That is how our foreign policy decided at that time. And why did we do it at that time? That is because of Cold War. Okay, please understand, we were living in a totally different world altogether at that time, and the world was not free from this Cold War politics. It was intense pressure was there on India. We wanted to play, we had to be very, very careful at that time. We realized that for the survival of a country like India at that time, to keep away from the bloc politics, the best way is not to claim that territory which we never occupied. Okay, so please understand, it was a political calculation at that time. So today in 2020 it is very easy to talk about many things because there is no Cold War politics this time. There was at that time there was a balancing act between the US and the USSR going on. It is any time a war could have broke out and the things would have been totally difficult. See, you might have, when we will be talking about Afghanistan and all subsequent discussion, you will understand that Afghanistan, everybody got involved. That is why Afghanistan is still a difficult terrain today. There is no peace in Afghanistan. Why? Because of the involvement of these parties. So we want to keep all these parties away. That is why we said we should resolve the problem bilaterally also. Anyway, so when you understand more about the geopolitics of this region, you will appreciate why India did not claim a POK at that time. Anyway, and it's very easy. Then whether India captured any region in West Pakistan? No, we did not capture any territory in the West Pakistan. And we only asked, I mean during the war we captured some territory, but we finally at the end of the war as part of the agreement we came back and we stationed once again back to the pre-war position. Okay. So Mohammad Asid Ahmad is asking, sir, it means that India officially given POK to Pakistan according to Simla agreement. See, officially we have not said anything. Officially we did not say anything, but unofficially, the meaning of that statement, see, you please look into the Shimla agreement once again. If you have any doubt, you look at the official document. Very clearly mentioned, inviolability of line of control. Don't violate line of control. It tells many things. If you cannot understand English, nothing can be done. If you can understand English, this is the meaning. Meaning is, we have for the first time, we have made it very clear that we are no more interested in POK or Gilgit-Baltistan. That is the meaning, that is the only meaning. Now, if you do not want to accept that meaning, I have no issues, but that is the meaning. Okay. Let us not get into the